Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas. Our ongoing study in Paul and the Faithfulness of God by N.T. Wright. We're going to look at our recall triad for pages 1043 to 1063 on reworked eschatology, which we found for Paul was ethics combined with eschatology. Eschatological ethics. So let's take a look at block 1. In Israel's promised narrative, Paul held the Jewish anticipation of Yahweh's return to Zion, and that it would realize an incarnate righteousness. It would be a coming in judgment to put things to right, and the putting to right is through the following messianic moments: the agency of the Messiah, the covenant righteousness of the Messiah, the outpouring of the doxa glory of the Messiah, the inauguration of the new creation through the Messiah, and the gyro uplifting power through the Messiah. For Paul, all of these had been fully fulfilled in Jesus Christ. So he developed a revised hope after Damascus Road in block 2. It did consist of an apocalyptic now, but also an eschatological not yet. Under the apocalyptic now, the cross, the resurrection, and the Spirit have inaugurated the awaited renewal of creation. It has started through those apocalyptic markers. But there's a future not yet of the kingdom, and those markers that point to that are monotheism, election, and ethics. That becomes a new opened eschatological future existence that we move toward as an epitelio movement unto righteousness, within which we participate as an ethics unto righteousness, and that is eschatology for Paul. So in block 3, promise and hope become a transformative kingdom. The logos, the scriptures, become newly appropriated and newly interpreted as pointing to Christ. The rhema voice of Christ is the incarnate voice of God's revealing word, which becomes intercession, and it becomes the work of the Spirit. And that leads to the unveiling and the further presence of the doxa glory of God, and it will eventually reach the great fulfillment of doxa glory, where new creation will be completely fulfilled in the returning parousia advent. But it is a movement as a righteousness judgment through the intercessory work of Christ at the right hand of the Father. For Paul, Christ fulfilled and reinterpreted everything in Israel's promise and Israel's hope. But we need to look at the 4-point focus, because this lesson is really about, according to N.T. Wright, what does eschatology mean for Paul? It really means a new movement of ethics, not a list of rules that are enforced by the Sanhedrin, but a movement of ethics as an eschatology. So let's look at the 4-point focus. Eschatology is ethical movement in 3 moments. First is participation in Jesus Christ, in his ongoing agency, and in his ongoing gyro uplifting empowerment. Number 2, it focuses on the apocalyptic markers of cross and resurrection and election and ethics. And 3, it means to be transformed by the rhema voice of Christ and his living word in order to create a new mind in us that transforms our lives. So it's all about a brand new, newly opened understanding of Paul's teaching on eschatology and ethics, both that they become interpenetrating doctrines. Eschatology and ethics interpenetrate each other. Paul no longer can support the stale, abstract, and oppressive rules of the Sanhedrin. Now life is about the living word, and that means the person of Christ himself, and it means participating in the movement unto righteousness, and that's an eschatological movement. So our ethical actions participate in the eschatological movement. Both of them serve righteousness, and that means both of them serve Jesus Christ for Paul, period. So we've got tremendous reinterpretation of traditional content, moving toward a new unfolding of what Paul taught concerning eschatology. And it's really a great teaching by Professor Wright. It opens up this understanding of Paul that, yes, he did rework monotheism, he did rework election, and he did rework eschatology as a epitelio ethical movement toward righteousness. It's an epitelio, remember that's from Philippians 1:6, it's an epitelio movement unto righteousness as an ethical movement on our part, on our participation. And that's going to wrap up our recall triad. We will continue in this part 3 and section 3 on reinterpreted eschatology next time.